This is another fishing podcast.
What do you think the biggest trends have been in the last 10 years? If you had to point to the number one trend in the last 10 years, and what do you think it's going to be in the next 10 years?
Oh, wow. So I think the side imaging and forward-facing sonar are probably the biggest things that's ever happened, and in recent history. I think one other thing I think that's grown like crazy that we could probably have a whole nother show on is the kayak fishing world and how big that's gotten, how much that's exploded, and how much money's there. A guy can go buy a kayak. He might not be able to buy a 21-foot Ranger, but he can buy a kayak, which leads to a whole nother different set of problems. But anyway, I think in the future, so in the past, these tournaments always had big weights in the spring, and then after that, they kind of went down. The technology and the graphs and sonar have made guys realize where those big fish go. That was always the question, where do all the big fish go? Well, now they know. I think what's going to happen over the next few years, the fish are going to become conditioned to the technology, the forward-facing sonar. I think they are in places they already are. I think seeing how the guys adjust to it. Does it go back to a deal where the guy with a flipping stick and a frog starts dominating tournaments again? I sure hope that, because I'm a fish the bank kind of guy. But I don't know. I think the forward-facing sonar and the side imaging has got to be the biggest change probably in my lifetime.
Do you think, as far as score tracker and that technology to be able to know how all the other competitors are doing on the body of water, do you think that will become more accessible to the weekend angler, weekend tournament fishing? And do you think that could open up more possibilities for bass fishing?
Man, I sure hope so, because love it or hate it, the catch, weigh, and release is the best thing for the resource. Whether you'll ever see it on a weekend angler type basis, I don't know. It'd be nice if they could do it and figure it out. But there's so many, especially this time of year, the fish kill rate. They can say what they want to, but a lot of those fish that are returned alive end up dying. And we got to protect the resource. I think the catch, weigh, and release is the way to do it. Or catch, weigh, and bring your biggest bass in if they want to have a weigh-in. I don't know if you remember the Toyota Texas Bass Classics.
Oh yeah,
Conroe.
Yeah. I'd actually filmed a few of those for sure.
To me, that's the best way to do it for the resource. It still allows the weigh-in. Still, you'll still have some crowds there. The guy gets to hold the fish up, but it's not not there. A lot of fish are getting killed, especially this time of year up north. At some of those smallmouth tournaments, the carnage, even before they're released, is unbelievable. And then, I know the guys do the best they can to take care of them, but it's hot. It's a long boat ride. They're catching them out of deep water. If they just were able to let them go right there on the spot, it would definitely help the resource. So I'm a huge proponent of the catch, weigh, and release, the score tracker. As far as using it for a weekend angler, who's going to watch it? I mean, it may help the fishermen know, but I don't know that they would get that much viewership. But I do really feel like the catch, weigh, and release, and they could easily do it because that's what they do with the kayak fishing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's got to be, I think just to protect the resource, and, if fishing becomes more, popular, it just makes sense that you'd have to protect the resource more. And so that catch, weigh, and release, that kind of score tracker mentality or their technology I just see that as being more the future. Again, there's obviously limitations, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that just get implemented in, a greater, in a greater capacity, I guess, throughout bass fishing tournaments. I guess that's what I'd like to see.
Right, for sure, because again, I know that you've been in enough weigh-ins. I've been in enough weigh-ins to know that the fish are taking a beating. We had I live on the James River in Richmond, here in Richmond, and every week when they have a tournament at the ramp here by the house, it's the next week the fish you're catching are they're just rough. I mean, they're the ones that live.